All right, so we're back. All right, so I had to do some deep dive into some of these documentation, but what I discovered was we can use this code from this point on and plug it into our backend code. Okay, and to test this, we just go into our backend folder and we create a JS file. Okay. So on this JS file, we have our import JS.force. Our import JSForce from JSForce. So make sure you get the packet for JSForce. And then also set up your secrets and the Wix secrets. So once you have that set up, then here is how the connection goes, right? So we have this SF connect, and that's going to authenticate, and it calls into our credentials, and it gets the credential secrets, and then it logs in, and if there's an error, it catches those errors. Okay, so we are calling this authenticate account. So we await our authentication, and then we call into our connection URL, and then we're going to do the dot query, and then we can include our string here. Okay, so that's how this connection works. And then we can create our own functions now. Okay, so I was experimenting here, and what we want to do is, right, so there's three things we need to do. We have a collection, right? There's a collection, a blank collection. So I like to query all active records. Okay, and then we're gonna get the ID, the name, um, description, right? Um, okay, so actually, if we go here, so we're using the query, and we're just gonna do a simple query. Okay, so if we go back to our code, we have this function here. So this is a callable web function. Okay, so on this one, let's see, we got this function. Okay, it's called get dogs. Okay, and then we have our array of all the fields that we want to get. Okay, so we can plug in our fields in here, and then we have our query, and we're going to select from our fields, and then we're going to select from the table, and we can set a limit. Okay, so it's going to get the query. It's going to return us some results. Okay, and it returns error if there's an error. So if we test this out right now, it doesn't require any input. So we'll just go ahead and run this. Okay, so it's called, and we get return. Okay, so we got our first 100. Okay, so here are 100 records. Okay, and then if we open one, we have all of our fields. Okay, so these are the attributes, and we have like a link directly to that record. And then here's our ID. All right, there's our name, right? So some of these fields are not populated. We do have a date of birth, and we see that's an adult male. It's a large golden retriever. It's about almost 9 years old, and he has been adopted. Okay, so this one will show in the history of adopted. So it will not be displayed on the website unless he's been available and then become adopted, and we'll probably have that record in some type of history. Okay, and then we can see some of the other information here. Okay, but I would like to see more descriptions. I would like to see the date that he arrived, right? And then I'd like to see perhaps like the type. See, there's a type. Okay. And the photo, right? So how are we gonna do the photo? So, I mean, we can have even this URL show up only for internal users, right? So that way, if they want to like click on it, they can go directly to that record in Salesforce too. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this ID, right? And we're gonna save this to a field in our collection. It's called Salesforce ID, right? So what we can do with this is then we don't have to query this pet. So let's see if the stage was available, right? So we will save this this these two things, the name, the ID, and all the other information, right, to the fields. And then we can update it, and then we can perhaps like let's say they go and they update it in the record here. You know, if it's easier to fill out this information, maybe this can send out an update to Salesforce to update those fields then, right? Make sure it doesn't delete any, you know, so we're gonna handle the updates, and it could like communicate back and forth. Okay. So so if it deletes stuff, then we'll have to like make sure it's not deleting stuff. So it could add stuff, but not delete stuff. So if it replaces information, then we want to make sure it's correct. Or we can just display information. So we won't be updating anything. We'll just get all the information. So like if it's, I'll say if it's empty, then maybe we can fill it out from here if it's easier, or send them a message for them to fill it out. Okay, so that's how we have for all of these, you know. Let's see, they have some other information, right? Whoop, whoopee. He was a rescue, 15 years old, adopted. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're gonna get that information. Okay, so we will be getting that information from that function. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this information that's returned and all right, so let's see, get dogs. Okay, so we can have another function here. Let's see. This is gonna be a Wix um Okay, let's say we have the same type of function here. Let's see. Let's see, that's an empty array. Do get dogs. Does this work? Okay, I don't know if this is gonna work at all, but it's empty. Um, Maybe that's funny. What we need to do is we need to wait, await, 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 await. Okay. All right. So let's see if this makes sense. So we're just running the and assigning it to that. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Check it out. All right. So that created 100 records and our records object. Okay, it's an array of objects. All right, great. So how do we do Wix? bulk insert. Bulk save. Okay, so bulk save returns a promise that resolves after the items have been added or updated in a specific collection. Okay, so I guess we can just use this. Let's see. Alright, so I gotta like build the objects like this. So it needs the name. So we need to build the object. So what are we getting here? We are getting okay, so this is a tricky part right here. So I guess when we do this, we are getting so we're just getting like unless I have the fields just like this, because our fields are just different. Our fields are different. And so we need to get the value All right, so that'll be great for episode number 3.